Alright guys, so I want to start this video issuing a couple of apologies. The first is to Mrs. Peak Pounder, my beloved, for always saying, hey, I prefer no slide, no slide, no slide, less complicated, less stuff to break, blah, blah, blah. I know we've done queen bed slide units before, but when we go inside, guys, you will see the privacy afforded by the queen bed slide is just different. You do feel kind of protected as you walk up. So I'm not going to say I'm a changed man, but I will concede that there is something to be said for having a queen bed slide with the walk around and the additional space in the bedroom compared to the no slide unit. So with that out of the way, second apology is to our subscribers and our customers who have said, look, we know that you guys love bombing through the desert, down the mountain trails and that kind of thing, putting these rigs through their paces, but you gotta try beach camping. And we had been beach camping before in Gulf Islands National Seashore, hiking a mile in and a mile out down in Florida in the blazing hot sun, only to tent camp. This is different, guys, I gotta tell you. Coming to you from Cape Lookout National Seashore here on the coast of North Carolina, it is Josh at Peak Pounder, and we are just getting started here with the 2022 Winnebago Minnie Winnie 22M. Check out this scenery. So this is our first time here, and I could not recommend it more highly. It's a ferry ride over. It's a couple $100 to get your rig over here, depending on the length, but well worth it. And as we see the fridge vent and the furnace vent there on the outside, the details are going to start coming at you fast here. So two 120s there in the corner for your household appliances, pretty standard fare. Got the Bushwhacker flares on the fronts here. I have the factory step and mudguard combo, so if you prefer that for mobility issues or what have you, let me know. It's an easy change, and you can have the flares and whatever. It's no problem whatsoever. Going with a different tire on this one. This is the Goodyear Duratrack RT. This is a newer tire from Goodyear, and I'm impressed. It's been really seamless, really drama-free on the beach driving. Tread pattern is pretty aggressive, and it blends all-terrain and mud-terrain duties very well. So I think that going forward, the Duratrack is going to be our go-to. They've just been really that good. The Goliath bumper, Goliath Off-Road, GoliathOffroad.com. These guys are a pleasure to work with, American company. All their gear is hand-built in Florida. And they're always just a pleasure to work with, so give them some love if you haven't already. Check out Active Cruise. You see the sensor underneath the Ford logo there, front and center. This is a game changer, guys, as far as I'm concerned. These rigs, we take Active Cruise or Adaptive Cruise, whatever you want to call it, for granted on our daily drivers, but in an RV, man, just set it and forget it. Get behind somebody, post up behind a tractor trailer or whatever, 60, 65, 70 and up, and the thing just performs flawlessly. It really does. Warn VR Evo 12S winch, as per usual with the synthetic line. And we went with the Diode Dynamics SS3 Sports on this rig. So you can get a feel for how those look. Maybe I think the chassis is a little bit bigger, the housing is a little bit bigger than the aux beams that we normally go with. Moving down to the suspension setup for the front, pretty typical BDS dual stabilizer that we normally run with the Fox stabilizers. But we have a Striker Off-Road drag link and 1 1/4 inch Heim joint track bar on this one. So these are really beefy units from Striker that I have been extremely impressed with. Obviously, both adjustable. Sumo stops lurking in the background there. Dana 60 as per usual with all new internals, all new front end components. Beefed up everything. The Dana 60, of course, regeared to 456 to match the rear. We are aired down to about 19 psi, maybe 18 in the front, 19 to 20 in the back, and you know these Duratracks. Just going back to that for a second, they have been just wonderful, just a delight to use. Closer shot of those Bushwhacker flares there. You can see the Fox 2.0s and the lift coils in the back, along with the radius arms. Quick overall shot here of the driver's side. I love this rig. I really do. I hate to even get rid of it. You know, fiberglass top, one-piece, fiberglass roof, I should say, one-piece cap. It's solid. I may never go back to another TPO roof, guys. See those worn manual locking hubs? That's kind of what we always do. We moved on from the Ford OEM hubs. As we take a look around the outside, you see your generator housing or generator cubby, some storage or water heater, so on and so forth. We'll go over all the exterior features here in just a minute. Finish on this one is real clear, real shiny, real nice, as you would expect from a Peak Pounder build. Let's go inside. Let's step on up into the 22M. Immediately you see that dinette. The cushions are virtually like new. Beautiful scenery coming out of the windows, right? I mean, just unbelievable out here. That dinette is, of course, convertible. It is not a dream dinette like in the Thors where it drops down. You do remove the tabletop from the base and then store that base elsewhere. All right, overall floor plan view. You see the privacy in that queen slide. I'm telling you guys, you know, I know that a lot of y'all are like me and you prefer the less complicated aspect of the no slide units. But if you're married, I'm telling you, she's gonna like it more. In most cases, having all that extra space that we'll show you in the bedroom here is a difference maker in overall satisfaction for the missus. And maybe, you know, I'm just speaking from my personal experience, but bathroom in the corner, plenty of space back there. We'll show you that. Microwave range hood, which is a new one for me, over the 3-burner gas Suburban stove with the oven. The range hood is vented on the exterior. You see some cabinet space, your typical Class C cabinet setup. Dual basin stainless sink with the pull down sprayer on the faucet. And the AC. So the AC is vented in this one through the roof, through the ceiling, I should say, and controlled by the thermostat. So none of this hand controls on the individual air conditioner unit. Both your heat and AC are controlled from the thermostat the way the good Lord intended. Very few controls on the main entry of this rig. So I'll show you guys here in a moment, you know, what is actually controlled when you first walk up into the rig. But for the most part, you see the panel there beside the microwave is where the bulk of your system functions are performed. That's our coffee maker. You cannot have that one. It is the smallest K-cup compatible coffee maker that I could find. Yeah, it's made in China, but it is tiny. All right, 110s. As you walk up in the entry, you have your living room lights and your porch light there. You also have your awning controls, both light and awning extension and retract. And then your master battery disconnect is also on that same panel. All right, spinning around, taking a look at the bunk and the cubby there with the DVD player mounted underneath. Nice size TV in the bunk. And a first for us, I'll show you here in a minute, a nice size TV in the bedroom. So this is your typical kind of queen size bunk with a window. Of course, you know, with the vented AC right above the bunk, that's kind of a nice feature for the kids if they're sleeping up there. 5 seat belts in this one, by the way. So those of y'all with a decent sized family beyond the typical nuclear, I got something for you. You know, 3 seat belts in the dinette, 2 seat belts obviously in the front seats. and you can sleep the whole family in this one. 24 feet 5 inches long is the official designation from Winnebago. Checking out the Norcold fridge here, again made in America. Plenty of space. This one is like brand new, as you would expect from a peak pounder build. Dual fuel, right? So it's AC and gas. None of this 12-volt stuff that you are starting to see more and more of, which is more of a camper van style type refrigerator than this one. I certainly prefer propane for on the go, so you're not constantly draining batteries. Main control panel, it's the Onan QG4000 with 260 hours, runs like a top. Water heater is propane only. Water pump, of course, is 12 volt. All your system level buttons are here that you would expect. 1,000-watt microwave. Here's a little demo of the range hood, right? It's just a fan and a light. Nothing fancy. Moving to your first closet area. This is what I would probably call a pantry. In our case, we're just using it for drone storage and cleaning supplies, along with bug spray, which I can't recommend highly enough for Cape Lookout. I like this. I like this cabinet with your water system stored here, Pentair Shore Flow, and most importantly, single valve winterization. So we're leaving nothing to the imagination, nothing really for you to mess up. No instruction manual to read. Turn the valve, your water heater is bypassed, and you are ready to winterize your rig, whether by air or by antifreeze, whichever you choose. It's a pretty standard suburban propane furnace, along with a couple of accessory drawers just to kind of fill up the space, I think. Moving into the bathroom, like I said, this one's real spacious. You see the AC vent there. We changed the hardware out, so your faucet is a black, nice black unit to match the rest of the vibe, I guess, throughout. We also changed the shower hardware out as well. Shower's real clean, no surprises in here. Everything is just really well taken care of. Check out the Winnebago towel holder. I guess this is on all of them, but I think that's a pretty cool add. Medicine cabinet type storage above the toilet. The toilet, of course, is your standard foot pump toilet. And moving right along, another view of that bunk. You see your storage cubby there, along with your mounted DVD player for all of you old heads out there who have the full series of Breaking Bad on DVD. This is your main kitchen storage. We've obviously got just some snacks and coffee in there. We're traveling pretty light. Tank heaters on this one. So that is something important, and an inverter. Man alive. Inverter is a game changer on these small Class Cs. You rarely see them. This is the first one we've seen factory installed. We've, of course, installed our fair share of these, but it is nice to have this one already ready to go and the wiring done and just sort of there. This one is 1,000 watts, so you're not running the AC off of this one with the battery bank, but certainly TVs and chargers and all that kind of stuff. Your typical day-to-day scenery out the back window. Just a beautiful beach with nobody in sight for probably a half mile or more. I mean, it's just really desolate out here, and I love it. So private. Queen bed in the slide, of course. You guys saw that. It's so much space, walking around space on either side. A couple of windows on your slides. Good cabinet space above the bed, with your owner's manuals stored there. Some brand new, I think, never used seat cushions or seat cushion headrests in the cabinet as well. Here's your main closet. We're here for 4 days, so we're packing real light. We also didn't really know what to expect here at Cape Lookout, so we tried to pack as light as possible and prepare for anything. Good size nightstand or night table here. I think it will support a CPAP. You've also got 110s to plug any kind of equipment like that into, along with a couple of 12-volt plugs to support your cigarette lighter style plugs. Good drawer space underneath that main closet. You can get to this with the slide closed. By the way, it's a little bit of a squeeze, but doable. Like I mentioned before, TV in the bedroom. This is the first time we've seen that in the small Class C's. Of course, you got your privacy curtain if just being separate via the slide is not enough for you. All right, moving up to the front. You know, this is the full color dash. This is the upgrade dash. This is kind of par for the course when you have the adaptive cruise and lane keep assist that this one does. You can see we're aired down significantly there. We also may need to replace the fuel filler, the fuel cap on this one, so I'll get to that. But man, I love this full color display, especially when it comes to trip details and the different kind of gauges that are available. It's really nice to see, and really a significant step up from what you normally encounter in these RVs, in the Ford-based RVs. CarPlay and Android Auto also on your Sony 8000, XAV 8000 screen with the rear view camera. Side view cameras, of course, on your mirrors. This one is the real deal. I love it. I hate to get rid of it, but let's call it $115K. And you can drive this one home, 28,000 miles. It's the Winnebago 22M. So because we were camping in this thing at the time and had sort of stuff everywhere, I didn't want to get too crazy with the exterior tour. So let's just go through that right now. So starting out, you know, you're owning QG4000. We should all be familiar with this 4,000 watt generator. It is pretty much the standard on your Class C rigs. Suburban 6-gallon water heater. As mentioned, this one is propane only. Speaking of propane, your 10-gallon propane tank here. Blackwater flush cable TV in. City water hookup, as well as your 40-gallon freshwater tank fill. Electrical is your standard 30 amp setup. Plug it in for generator or plug it into shore power. Big storage back here. This is the primary storage. You see a hose and RJ6 cable TV hookup back there. I think that's deep enough for skis or maybe a snowboard or wakeboard, whatever the case may be. Your manual slide out controller is here. It's the typical septic setup, gray and black water tanks with individual drains, of course. All right, awning is in really good shape, basically brand new. There is the range hood vent that I mentioned below the microwave. Fridge vent, furnace vent, dual 110s, and a secondary storage here that is a metal box type enclosure. Porch light. And that is that's really it on the outside. You know, fairly Spartan, pretty straightforward.